Hello and welcome back to Math and Maticians, the channel where we bring you all things mathematical and numerical. Today we have the story of the company started by one of the greatest entrepreneurs of the past century, the story of the company that revolutionized mass production. Today we bring you the story of Ford, a company that started as a car company but turned into an absolute empire. It all started in a small, dusty workshop in Detroit back in 1903. Detroit at the time was a bustling hub of innovation and industry, attracting ambitious inventors and entrepreneurs from all over the country. Ford, with his relentless drive and vision, fit right in. He had already experimented with building cars. But it was in this modest workshop that his dreams began to take shape. Ford Motor Company, as it was boldly called, was born with a simple mission: to make cars affordable for everyone, not just the loaded toffs. In those days, cars were a luxury item reserved for the wealthy elite. But Ford had a different vision. He believed that the automobile should be accessible to the average person, completely transforming the way people lived and worked. This vision was radical and ambitious, but Ford was determined to make it a reality. Henry, a proper grafter, scraped together $28,000 from 12 investors. These investors were a mix of friends, family, and local businessmen who believed in Ford's vision. It wasn't easy to convince them, but Ford's passion and determination were infectious. He promised them that their investment would not only yield financial returns, but also change the world. That might not sound like much now, but back then it was a bloody fortune. To put it in perspective, $28,000 in 1903 is equivalent to just over $1 million today. It was a significant amount of money, and it showed the level of trust and belief that these investors had in Ford's vision. They say he was driven by a burning desire to make cars that were reliable, simple, and cheap enough for the common man to buy. Ford's vision was not just about affordability, it was about creating a product that people could depend on. He wanted to build cars that were easy to maintain and could durably withstand the rigors of daily use. This focus on quality and reliability set Ford apart from his competitors. No more need for horses and carts as their daily driver. Everyone would be driving on four wheels. The transition from horse-drawn carriages to automobiles was a monumental shift in society. It changed the way people traveled, worked, and lived. Ford's vision of a car for the masses meant that people could travel farther and faster than ever before, opening up new opportunities and transforming communities. From the get-go, Ford was all about innovation. He wasn't content with just building cars. He wanted to revolutionize the way they were made. Ford's approach to manufacturing was groundbreaking. He introduced the concept of the assembly line, which allowed for mass production of cars at a lower cost. This innovation not only made cars more affordable, but also set new standards for efficiency and productivity in manufacturing. He knew that to achieve his dream, he had to find a more efficient way to build cars. Ford's relentless pursuit of efficiency led to numerous innovations in the manufacturing process. He focused on standardizing parts, improving workflow, and reducing waste, all of which was to slowly but steadily decrease production costs. These efforts paid off as Ford was able to produce cars faster and at a substantially lower cost than his competitors. And his efforts truly paid off. The introduction of the Model T in 1908 was a game-changer. It was affordable, reliable, and easy to maintain, making it an instant hit with the public. The success of the Model T solidified Ford's place in history as a pioneer of the automobile industry. His innovations not only transformed transportation, but also had a lasting impact on manufacturing and society as a whole. Now, forget your fancy electric cars and self-driving nonsense for a moment. Let's take a trip back in time to the early 20th century, a period of immense innovation and change. Picture a world where cars were a luxury, accessible only to the wealthy elite. Roads were mostly dirt, and the idea of a car for the common man was almost laughable. But all of that was about to change. The Model T, launched in 1908, was a revolution on wheels. It wasn't just a car, it was a symbol of freedom and progress. Henry Ford had a vision: to create a vehicle that was affordable, durable, and easy to maintain. The Model T was designed to be simple yet robust, capable of handling the rough and often unpaved roads of the time. This wasn't some delicate piece of machinery. It was built to survive anything you could throw at it. Whether it was navigating through muddy fields, rocky paths, or even being used as a makeshift tractor, The Model T could handle it all. Its high ground clearance and sturdy construction made it a favorite among farmers and adventurers alike. The real stroke of genius came in 1913 with the moving assembly line. This innovation didn't just change the automobile industry, it revolutionized manufacturing as a whole. Before the assembly line, cars were built by hand, one at a time, which was time-consuming and expensive. Ford's new method allowed for mass production, drastically reducing the time and cost to build each car. Ford's idea was simple but brilliant. Instead of skilled workers assembling an entire car, each worker would focus on a single task. This specialization meant that workers could become highly efficient at their specific job, speeding up the entire process. It was a radical shift from the traditional craftsmanship model to an industrialized approach. This sped up production like you wouldn't believe. The assembly line moved at a steady pace, and each worker had a limited amount of time to complete their task before the car moved on to the next station. This relentless pace ensured that production was continuous and efficient, minimizing downtime and maximizing output. A Model T could be churned out in just 93 minutes, unheard of at the time. This was a monumental achievement, considering that it used to take over 12 hours to build a single car. The efficiency of the assembly line meant that Ford could produce more cars at a lower cost, passing the savings on to the customers. The price plummeted, and suddenly everyone and their granny wanted a piece of the Ford dream. The Model T became the first car that was truly accessible to the average American. It changed the landscape of the country, making it possible for people to travel farther and faster than ever before. The Model T wasn't just a car, it was a catalyst for change, driving America into a new era of mobility and freedom. By the 1920s, Ford was the biggest car manufacturer in the world, bar none. The company had revolutionized the automobile industry with its innovative assembly line production method, which allowed them to produce cars at an unprecedented rate. This efficiency not only made cars more affordable for the average person, but also set a new standard for manufacturing industries worldwide. The Ford factory was a marvel of modern engineering, sprawling over acres and employing thousands of workers who were all part of this groundbreaking process. They were pumping out millions of cars, and the Model T had become a global icon. This car wasn't just a means of transportation, it was a symbol of freedom and progress. The Model T was affordable, reliable, and easy to maintain, making it accessible to a broad audience. It changed the way people lived, worked, and traveled, connecting rural areas to urban centers and opening up new opportunities for commerce and communication. The widespread adoption of the Model T also spurred the development of infrastructure such as roads and highways, further fueling the growth of the automobile industry. But Henry Ford wasn't one to rest on his laurels. He knew that to stay ahead of the game, he had to keep innovating. Ford was a visionary who understood that the future of the automobile industry depended on continuous improvement and adaptation. He was always looking for ways to enhance the performance, safety, and affordability of his cars. His relentless pursuit of innovation led to numerous advancements in automotive technology and manufacturing processes, solidifying Ford's position as a leader in the industry. In 1932, Ford unveiled the flathead V8 engine, a powerful and reliable beast that became a legend in its own right. This engine was an automobile game-changer, offering unprecedented power and performance at an affordable price. It quickly became popular among car enthusiasts and speedsters. Earning a reputation for its durability and versatility, the flathead V8 engine was a testament to Ford's commitment to innovation and excellence, and it played a crucial role in the company's continued success during the challenging economic times of the Great Depression. Then came World War II, and Ford, never one to shy away from a challenge, shifted gears to support the war effort. The company transformed its factories to produce military vehicles and equipment, demonstrating its incredible adaptability and resourcefulness. Ford's contribution to the war effort was immense, providing the Allied forces with the tools they needed to achieve victory. This period showcased the company's ability to pivot and respond to global demands, further cementing its reputation as a manufacturing powerhouse. They built everything from Jeeps to bombers, proving their manufacturing prowess on a massive scale. Ford's production capabilities were nothing short of extraordinary, as they managed to produce vast quantities of high-quality military equipment in record time. This effort not only supported the war, but also laid the groundwork for post-war innovations and advancements in automotive technology. The skills and knowledge gained during this period would go on to influence Ford's future projects, driving the company forward into the next era of automotive excellence. After the war, Ford continued its relentless march forward. The 1960s saw the birth of the legendary Ford Mustang, a car that captured the spirit of freedom and became an instant classic. But Ford wasn't content with just dominating the American market. They began expanding aggressively overseas, building factories and establishing themselves as a global force in the automotive industry. Strategic acquisitions like Jaguar and Land Rover further cemented their position. Now, let's talk about what set Henry Ford apart as a real genius: the ideology of mass production. Before Ford, cars were a luxury built by hand for the wealthy few. Ford changed all that. His moving assembly line and focus on standardization meant they could build cars faster, cheaper, and in greater numbers than anyone thought possible. This wasn't just about churning out cars, it was a revolution in manufacturing. Ford's methods spread like wildfire, transforming industries far beyond automobiles. Right, let's talk numbers, because that's what really gets the engine revving. From its humble beginnings, Ford has grown into a financial behemoth. They've sold hundreds of millions of cars, trucks, and SUVs worldwide. In its peak years, Ford was raking in billions in revenue, and even today they remain a major player in the global market. Sure, they've had their ups and downs like any company, but their financial performance over the decades is nothing short of staggering. Henry Ford wasn't just a businessman, he was a visionary. He understood that to build a successful company, you needed more than just a good product. He implemented groundbreaking strategies like vertical integration, controlling every step of the production process, from raw materials to finished cars. And then there was the $5 workday. Ford shocked the world by doubling his workers' wages, believing that a well-paid workforce would be happier, more productive, and, crucially, able to afford the cars they were building. Ford's impact on society went far beyond putting America on wheels. His mass production methods created millions of jobs, fueling the growth of the middle class. His $5 workday, seen as radical at the time, set a new standard for worker compensation and helped establish the 40-hour workweek. Ford's influence on labor relations and social change is undeniable. Ford's obsession with efficiency and innovation didn't stop with the assembly line. They pioneered quality control measures to ensure every car met their high standards. They invested heavily in research and development, constantly seeking ways to improve their vehicles and manufacturing processes. From the first moving assembly line to today's advanced robotics and automation, Ford has consistently pushed the boundaries of manufacturing, shaping how things are made around the world. So there you have it, the story of Ford. From a small Detroit workshop to a global giant, Ford's journey is a testament to the power of innovation, hard work, and a bit of good old-fashioned American grit. Ford's influence on the automotive industry and the world at large is undeniable. But what's truly remarkable is their ability to adapt and evolve. As the automotive landscape changes with electric vehicles, autonomous driving, and new mobility solutions, one thing's for sure: Ford will be there, leading the charge into the future.